If you want to sit up on a blanket, do cross your legs if that's comfortable for you. Have your props, or at least your blocks nearby. We have a lot of stops we're going to make today in our practice. So this first stop that we're making is just coming home to our body, allowing our consciousness to move inside of our body so that we can be here and now and present with what it is to be in this body, what it is to have this time on the earth, what it is to be a living, breathing, conscious part of the whole. And so once you've kind of organized your body, and we're not going to be too precise about it right now, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Let your thumbs rest gently against your heart. And just take your hips from side to side a little bit so that you can feel your weight go from one sitting bone to the other sitting bone. And then allow things to kind of balance out. And so you're just building that consciousness in the base of your pelvis. And then take a deep, deep breath in. And just sigh the breath out. And we're going to do that a few times. Take a deep, deep breath in. And sigh it out. Just thinking about clearing out all the old stale air that might be in your body. Take a deep, deep breath in. Fill yourself not only up and down, but side to side. Fill, fill, fill. And sigh it out. And one more time. Deep, deep breath in. And sigh it out. And then allow your lips to close if you open them. And just allow yourself to breathe fully and deeply, being here in this moment right now. There's so much time. Slowly allow your eyes to open, take in the floor, and then gently lift your eyes. Take your left hand over to the left, take your right arm up to the sky, and slowly start to side bend, relaxing your left shoulder away from your ear. As you root your right sitting bone down into the floor, try to turn your chest up towards the ceiling. As if every breath that you take is eternal, as if every moment that you spend in this stretch, or everything is continuing. You've arrived, you're here. And then inhale back to the top, take your right fingertips down, take your left fingertips up. And as you exhale, side, bend it over, and observe all the sensations in being alive and in this shape right now. You've arrived here, but it continues to evolve. There's more consciousness, you can follow it. Good, and then inhale, both arms up to the sky. Feel your ribcage lifting up out of your pelvis. Create length as you allow your shoulder blades to soften. And then keeping your spine nice and long, start to flex forward. Place your fingertips down in front of you and walk your fingertips forward. Feel the breath into the back of your body. Allow your breath to be deep and smooth. See if you can be present with every single breath outside of the construct of time. Good. Slowly start to walk your fingertips back in. Try to feel every single part of the movement. Take your hands behind you. Extend your legs out in front of you. Give them a little shake. Flex and point your toes a couple of times. Create some consciousness in your feet, your ankles, your calves, your shins. Good. And then cross your opposite shin in front. Take your hands to your inner knees and use pressing down into your inner knees to elongate your spine. Think about the front of your spine elongating, yeah? So it's like you're zipping up along the front of your spine. And then keep that length as you extend your arms straight up to the ceiling again. Get even longer. Feel the sides of your waist lifting. Good, you guys. Take another inhale. As you exhale, twist towards the left. Take another inhale, grow taller. Lift your ribcage a little bit more. Take another exhale, squeeze your abdominals to create a little bit more of a sensation of the churning of your organs. Take one more inhale, get a little longer. As you exhale, contract your abdominals, bring your right hand down, your left hand behind you, but keep the height that you've built. And observe the sensations that you're feeling in this present moment right now. Can you relax your left shoulder blade down? Can you press your right shoulder blade into your chest so that your heart starts to expand? Good, and then take your left hand up and over so you're creating that leverage of hanging on your right arm as you side bend. Press the left sitting bone down into the floor. Can you think about the feeling of being exalted in this posture? Can you invite that in? Good, and then take your left arm out to the left. Open your right arm out to the right. Flip your palms over. Feel your biceps revolve towards the ceiling. Feel your arms getting longer, top and bottom. Inhale, take the arms up, and as you do, feel your ribcage lifting, 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 lengthening out of your pelvis. Relax your shoulders down as you exhale. Take another inhale, get even longer, and as you exhale, start to revolve towards the right. On your next inhale, grow your ribcage up out of your pelvis. Keep lengthening. As you exhale, contract your belly muscles. Notice how it feels a little different when you move, directing your motion this way. One more time. Inhale, get longer. And as you exhale, contract your belly muscles. Keep the height as you take your left hand to your outer right knee and your right fingertips behind you. And you continue to breathe as if time didn't matter at all, as if every breath was its own journey into the shape. Hold your head up high. And when you're ready, if you're taking it, take your right arm up and over your ear, stretching the opposite side of the body. And think about, what does it mean to be exalted? Lift your heart up towards the sky. Keep revolving your chest. Keep melting your right shoulder blade down. Good, and then take your right arm out to the right. Take your left arm out to the left. Revolve your biceps up. As you inhale, gather all of that energy up above you. Lift, lift, lift your ribcage up. Good. And as you exhale, fingertips come down. Walk your hands forward. Allow the breath to move through your entire being. And I don't just mean your body. Allow it to move through your awareness, through your emotions, through all of the different layers. Good, and then slowly walk your hands back in. And find your way onto all fours. And so if you're just coming in, welcome. setting up on all fours, and I'm going to invite you guys to just listen to that inner teacher and do whatever you really need to do here. Stretch your wrists, take a few rounds of cat and cow, drop your hips back into a child's pose, maybe create some movement from child's pose to a modified plank. The time doesn't matter. You're just listening to that inner wisdom, that inner guidance, that inner direction for a few rounds of breath. Yeah. Good. And then when you're ready, come to a neutral position. So you're stable on the four limbs. Press your inner palms down into the floor so that you feel as if you can lift up out of your armpits a little bit and at the same time broaden your collarbones. And then press the tops of your feet and your shins down into the floor. So much so that you almost feel like a rebound effect into the lowest part of your pelvis, your pelvic floor. And so there's just a gentle engagement here, connecting to your breath. As you inhale, I want you to think, I've arrived. And as you exhale, I want you to think, I release. Okay, so inhale, I've arrived. Exhale, I let go. On your next inhale breath, stretch your left leg back behind you. Feel that inner thigh revolving up. And then float your left leg towards the ceiling. Feel that inseam of your left leg lifting. Zip up your lowest part of your belly. Cup your right fingertips and inhale, stretch your right arm forward. You've arrived. Breathe here. Just feel that strength in the center of your body. Feel the ability to lengthen. So the journey continues, but you're here. You're exactly where you need to be. Slowly release your limbs back down to the floor. Extend your right leg back behind you, toes down. Just take a moment to revolve that right inner thigh up towards the ceiling. And then float that right leg up and notice what muscles can you use? Come into your body. Really be curious about this experience we're having. Extend your left arm forward on an inhale. And breathe. When we take time out of the construct, out of our awareness, we really create more freedom in the mind, more ability to be present, to be aware, to be curious. So slowly bring your limbs back down. Tuck your toes under. Take your hands about 3 inches forward. And lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Start to pedal your feet from side to side. Take your feet out as wide as your mat. And push into your index finger and your thumb and roll the underside of your forearms down towards the floor. Spin the eyes of your biceps up and try to press more weight towards your heels. Try to lift your kneecaps up. Try to lift your sitting bones up. Connect to your breath. Good, and then slowly walk your hands all the way back to your feet and really enjoy the walk. Good, when you get there, bend your knees a little bit. Clasp your opposite elbows. Allow the rectangle that you're creating in your arms to frame your face, and allow the crown of your head to magnetize down towards the floor as you think about lifting the sides of the hips up. So you're stretching right into the belly of your hamstrings. Good. Release your fingertips to the floor. Inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, fold it in. Bend your knees. Take your arms arms out to the side and use your legs to stand all the way up as you inhale. Circle your arms, gorgeous, good. Exhale, hands come together in front of your heart. Good, so we're just gonna move a little bit with some of those movements we did in the beginning. So we're just gonna kind of stretch from side to side. Inhale to the top. Exhale, stretch. Your feet are about a little wider than hip distance. And just coming into a movement that feels like you have all the time in the world to move with your breath. Good. And then the next time you're at the top, pause at the top. Your hands are interlaced. Start to make easy circles with your arms around your head, like you're making somewhat of a halo. Yeah? And find a way that it feels good. So you're not going into any sticky places. It might be a small movement. It might be kind of more like a little wavy arm situation. And then go the opposite way. All I see is everyone's legs. Good, and just feeling that warmth coming into your upper back. Release your hands up to the ceiling and bring your hands back down to your heart. Good, so let's have our feet out wide on the mat. So heel toe your feet. Actually take your arms out to the sides and notice where your wrists are, and where your wrists are, let your ankles land directly underneath your wrists. And then imagine you were trying to grip the mat, right? So you're trying to squeeze the mat in towards the midline so you feel your pelvic floor turn on. Yeah, so you're gonna inhale your arms up to the sky, feel your ribcage lifting up out of your pelvis. Awesome, and then feel that flexion from your hips as you fold forward, long spine. Release your fingertips down to the floor. Just letting go, just releasing, continuing to charge that energy up the inseams of your legs so you feel some aliveness in your pelvic floor. Good, and then inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, fold it in, keep your legs alive. Bring your hands to your hips, and as you inhale, rise all the way up. Good, now turn your toes out 45 degrees. Have your hands on your hips for now. Start to bend your knees out towards the sides. Feel as if you could open through the inseams of your legs. Take your arms straight up to the ceiling. So this is called goddess pose. You've arrived here. As you continue to lift up through the inseams of your legs, you continue to keep the pelvic floor awake and alive, and you feel the front of the pelvis is lifting. Relax your shoulders down. See if you can just be present with all of the sensations of being in this body right now. You don't have to go to your edge. You don't have to struggle. You can just be curious. Good, so on your next inhale, straighten your legs. Bring your feet so that they're parallel once more, and then step to the front of your yoga mat. Let's put our blocks at the front of our yoga mat. Let's take a moment just to be still. Reach your fingertips down towards the floor, empty out all of the breath. And as you inhale, circle your arms, gather all of that energy up above you. As you exhale, fold forward, bring your hands to the blocks. As you inhale, lift your chest up. And as you exhale, step your left foot back behind you, okay? So we're in a low lunge here. Make sure that the blocks are right underneath your shoulders. And then imagine you could pull the blocks backwards so you plug your shoulder blades down your back. Then bring your awareness to your outer right hip crease and bring your outer right hip crease towards the midline of your yoga mat. So it's like you're squeezing that tiny little pencil line. Revolve your left inner thigh up towards the ceiling. And as you revolve your left inner thigh up towards the ceiling, imagine you could supercharge that line of energy from the inseam of your left leg all the way through the crown of your head. And then as you're pulling those blocks backwards, you draw your belly muscles in just enough that your belly is just hovering off of your thigh, and then start to get a little lighter on your fingertips, just a little bit. Good, and then take the left hand down, spin the right arm up to the sky, open up your chest. Keep squeezing that tiny little pencil line between the inseams of your legs. Press your left shoulder blade up towards the right side of your chest. Breathe. So you've arrived. You're here. It's still a journey. Good. Start to make big backward circles with your right arm. So just opening everything up. Good. And then circle your arm all the way back down to the block. Move the blocks aside for a moment. Root your palms down. Step back into a plank pose. So first time in plank pose, you're gonna really press into the inseams of the arms. Imagine the inner thighs lifting towards the ceiling. Pubic bone is lifting towards the navel, and your shoulder blades are still trying to move down your back. It's like your top sternum is trying to reach forward. You feel your abdominals working, maybe even get a little bit of a shake. You've arrived. You can be here now. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Do anything you need to do here. Take your time. You have all the time you need. Good. Inhale your left leg straight back behind you. As you exhale, step your foot between your hands. Take your blocks on either side. And let's build this shape. We've built it before, but we're in this time right now. So first, imagine you were squeezing your shoulder blades down your back. Feel your shoulders plug right into the sockets. And then hug that outer left hip crease towards the midline as you spin your right inner thigh up towards the ceiling. Now as you pay attention to that inseam of your right leg, you feel as if you can lengthen all the way through the crown of your head on that same line of energy. And then start to get a little bit lighter on your fingertips. Feel your belly hovering off of your thigh. Create all of that length. Good. And then take your right hand back to the block. Keep hugging that midline as you open your left arm up to the sky. Just breathe. And then start to backward circle your arm around and around. Thinking about opening up the right side of the chest. Feels like the left, but what I want you to focus on is the right side lifting every time you swoop your arm back. Good, and then bring your left hand back down to the block. Find that center line again. You may have veered off of it. And then step your right foot forward to meet your left. As you inhale, lift your chest. As you exhale, fold it in. Root to rise. Inhale, circle your arms, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands come together in front of your heart. Inhale again, circle your arms, reach to the sky. Exhale, hinge from your hips, fold forward, hands to the blocks. As you inhale, elongate your chest forward, keep going, draw the lowest part of your belly in. As you exhale, step your right foot to the back of the mat. So the same side we just did, we'll add on just a little bit. Squeeze the shoulder blades down, tuck that outer left hip crease in, spin the right inner thigh up, create a long line of energy. Good, and then get a little bit lighter on your fingertips. And as you continue to hug that left hip crease in, reach your arms forward just for a beat. Take an inhale, get even longer. You've arrived. As you exhale, just surrender into, hey, it might be difficult. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, keep your left arm reaching. Take your right hand back down to the block and allow your spine to do the revolving as you hold your hips stable here. through the inseam of your right leg. Keep stretching through your left fingertips. Good, and then one big circle. Draw it all the way around. Bring your left hand back down to the block. Good, move the blocks aside, root your palms down. Step back into a plank pose. So we've done that, kind of had to go off of both of those sides. Coming back into the plank. Notice how it feels different from having done the right side before. Spin the inner thighs up, press the heels back, lengthen the sternum forward. Feel your abdominals bracing in. It's as if you're knitting the two sides of your ribcage together. Continue to press into the inner part of the palm. Continue to feel your collarbones trying to get wider as your forearms firm in towards one another. It's kind of a puzzle. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, lengthen your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Good. I know you're craving a vinyasa. We'll get to there. Inhale your right leg up to the sky. Feel yourself getting longer but neutral. As you exhale, step your foot between your hands. Find your blocks again. Okay, so we know what we're doing, right? Tucking that right hip in. We're spinning the left inner thigh up. We're lengthening the inside. See, we're reaching the chest forward. We're feeling the shoulder blades to press down. We're finding the strength in the middle of our body, in our pelvic floor. Rise up onto your fingertips. As you inhale, hold all of the things you're doing and extend your arms forward. You've arrived. Inhale. Feel yourself reaching, striving, celebrating. Exhale. Let go of anything that's not serving you. Take another inhale. Keep your right arm reaching as you exhale. Take your left hand back to the block. And as you hold what's happening in your hips, allow your spine to revolve open. What happened to your left shoulder? Are you still pulling your left shoulder blade down your back? Breathe. Good. Start to make that humongous circle with your right arm all the way around. Place your hand down on the blocks or on the floor. Step your left foot forward to meet your right. As you inhale, lift the chest. As you exhale, fold it in. As you inhale, circle the arms, reach all the way up. And as you exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Just take a beat, just take a pause. Allow yourself to be in this moment without wondering what's coming next. Releasing any attachments, if there are any. Release your fingertips down. Inhale, circle your arms. Feel your energy lifting up. Exhale, hinge from your hips, hands to the blocks or fingertips to the floor or fingertips to shins. Inhale, lift your chest. As you exhale, root your palms down into the floor, step back to a plank pose. Drop your knees down. As you exhale, lower halfway down. As you inhale, press back up. As you exhale, tuck your toes under, lift your knees up, back into that plank pose. And as you inhale, drop your knees back down. Keep your core engaged. As you exhale, lower halfway down, chaturanga, hold. As you inhale, press back up. Feel your belly muscles doing the work. As you exhale, tuck your knees. Use your abdominals to lift your kneecaps up. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Good. As you inhale, drop your knees back down. As you exhale, last time of this, lower halfway down. Hug the elbows in, elongate your sternum. Hold it, belly in. Inhale, press back up. Belly, belly, belly. Tuck your toes. Exhale, squeeze your knees up. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Allow your awareness to circulate. Any place it may have become concentrated, allow that awareness to spread out. If you did see the octopus teacher, think about all those tentacles, all of those places of awareness, of sensation. Good, and then inhale, shift forward to the top of your push-up. Knees up or down as you exhale, super slow motion. Lower your belly all the way down to the floor. Keep drawing your belly in the lower you go. Good. And then when you get to the floor, reach your arms back behind you. Hook your thumbs together. And with your thumbs Thumbs hooked together. Try to separate. Try to imagine you were trying to rip them apart and feel your chest peeling up off of the floor. Now press both sides of your pubic bone down into the floor. Reach back through the inseams of your legs. Gaze at your cheekbones and feel your shoulder blades lifting the front of the body up. Take a breath here. Exhale, release it down. Switch which thumb is on top. As you inhale, start to reach the arms back. Imagine peeling the thumbs apart from one another as you draw the elbows in towards one another. And gaze at your cheekbones. So the back of the neck stays long. Reach through your toes a little bit more this time. Yeah, good you guys. And float the toes up. Keep pressing the pubic bone down. Keep your breath full. Good, take one more inhale. As you exhale, release it down. Place your hands underneath your elbows. Tuck your toes under. Lift your kneecaps up off of the mat. On your inhale breath, press up to the top of a push-up. And on your exhale breath, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths, allow yourself to arrive. You're there. There's nowhere to go. Good. Lift up onto your toes, bend your knees, look forward. Step, walk, or jump your feet to the top of your mat. As you inhale, lengthen the chest forward. As you exhale, fold it in. As you inhale, circle your arms, reach all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, hands come together in front of your heart. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, bow to the earth. Inhale, heart lifts up. Exhale, step it back to plank. Pause in plank. Inhale, press your heels backwards. Feel your spine going longer. Shift your shoulders forward. As you exhale, knees up or down. Lower halfway down, chaturanga, and then release your belly down to the floor. Keep your hands directly under your elbows. As you inhale, press your pubic bone down. Lift up, baby cobra. And as you exhale, release down and transition back into downward facing dog. Breathe. Breathe fully. Breathe deeply. Give yourself the gift of being present, of feeling like you're here. You don't have to get through this. When you're ready, lift up onto your toes, bend your knees, look forward, step up or jump to the top of your mat. As you inhale, lift your chest, and as you exhale, fold it in. As you inhale, circle and rise all the way up. As you exhale, hands to your heart. Okay, Surya Namaskar A, 3 rounds. Take your time. Take your own rhythm. I encourage you to practice with your eyes closed. Not worrying about how long you're taking compared to anybody else. Just allowing yourself to be in that curious experience of how is this vinyasa today? What is the quality of your movement? What is your tempo and flow? What's your rhythm? What do you need? sound of your breath is enough music, is enough to keep you grounded in this present moment. So once you've completed your third round, either hold your downward facing dog or take your knees down and take a child's pose. Decide. Good. And then let's return to downward facing dog if you came down. Of course, you can do that whenever you feel ready. Inhale your right leg straight back behind you. Take a moment to magnetize your left heel down towards the floor. Revolve your right hip open and allow your right knee to bend so your heel moves towards your booty. And then press both hands evenly into the floor so you feel both sides of the waist lengthen. Good. And then revolve your right thigh bone so it's neutral again. And as you do, hug that outer left hip back. Good, now shift forward to the top of a push-up. Curl your knee in towards your chest. Push the floor away. Drop your hips a little bit lower, but curl your knee in a little bit tighter. Good, and then step your right foot between your hand. Seal your left foot down on its edge. Line up heel to arch alignment. And cartwheel your left arm open, rising up into Warrior Two. So as you come into Warrior Two, I want you to think about pressing into the outer edge of your back foot, but at the same time, can you firm your left inner thigh up so that you feel that connection to your pelvic floor? And then can you feel that action of externally rotating your right thigh bone? So you're tracking your right knee straight over the middle of your right foot. Extend your arms forward and backward, extending through the thumb side of your hand to elongate through the collarbones and extending through the pinky side of your hand to elongate, broaden the shoulder blades. And then lower just a little bit more. This is your warrior. This is the moment you've arrived in your warrior shape. For some of us, it might be more appropriate to take the hands down to the hips perhaps, or to hold behind the back. And if you're holding your elbows behind your back, if you're having any sort of shoulder issues, you can use that opportunity to lift the heart a little bit more and almost think about pressing the elbows forward. Just breathe here. Cultivating steadiness. Good. Stay in the depth of your Warrior Two. As you inhale, circle the arms up to the sky. So they're parallel to one another. They can be slightly forward of your ears. And then press into the mound of your right big toe to straighten your leg. And as you do, keep lifting up through both sides of the waist. Good. Now reach your right arm forward, reach your left arm back behind you. Shift your pelvis so that the right sitting bone elongates towards the back of your yoga mat. Reach through your right arm so that the right side waist gets longer. Revolve your chest up and find your block. Place the block to the outside of your ankle. And revolve open for Trikonasana. So what you're thinking here is you're thinking of creating these nice straight lines. You're pressing into the mound of your right big toe, but firming your outer right shin in. So that you're it's almost like you're pushing your pelvis forward so that you can lean your back backwards against an imaginary wall behind you. Just breathe. There's nowhere to get to. If you feel like you want a little bit of reach, you can stretch your left arm out over your ear. I guess if you wanted even more, you could lift your right arm and reach it forward. That's totally optional. Keep trying to revolve your chest up towards the sky. Good, and then whether your arm is up or down, start to make those big circles again. And let's make one more, and this time land your hand on your hip. Bend your front knee. Good. Moving purposefully. Like everything you're doing here is very important. This is your practice. Take your block forward, hop your left foot in a little closer. Draw that outer right hip in. And when you feel the pelvic floor engage, float the left heel to the height of the sitting bone. So why is this pose called half moon pose? Can you feel any sort of a circular action? It's funny because the moon is kind of like the feminine element, but when you divide it in half, it's kind of more measured like the masculine. So left arm might stretch up towards the sky. Keep finding a sense of buoyancy as you breathe, as you maintain your presence here. Bend your right knee, reach your left leg way back behind you. Land back in Trikonasana, so straighten your right leg, move the block back behind your ankle. Good, and then bend your right knee. Make sure it's tracking right over the center of your foot, and stretch your left arm forward. Ardha Konasana. Make sure you have that heel to arch alignment, and you're churning your chest open. You're churning your belly to face the wall you're looking at. Bring your gaze more sharply into focus on what you're paying attention to in this moment. On your next inhale breath, reverse your warrior. Keep bending the right knee deeply. Nice deep stretch to the side body. Keep reaching, reaching, reaching. Good, and as you exhale, cartwheel your hands down and take it through your vinyasa. All the time in the world. Allow yourself to breathe in downward facing dog. Catch up with your breath. Catch up with your body. Good, and then inhale the left leg straight back behind you, and as you do, press your right heel down towards the floor. Revolve your left hip open, bend your left knee, let your hip drape open, and then press evenly into both arms so you feel the sides of both ways elongate. It's like you're pressing more and more weight back into that right heel. Good, and then revolve your left leg so it's neutral. Keep adjusting, keep feeling where your pelvis is in space. And then slowly drift forward, curl your knee in towards your chest, push the floor away, drop the hips a little lower, but curl the knee in a little stronger. Good, and step your foot between your hands. Seal your right foot on its edge, heel to arch alignment. And cartwheel your right arm up into warrior two. Good. So you've arrived. Press into the outer edge of your right foot so that you light up the inseam of your right leg. And then think about externally rotating, drawing your outer left thigh bone into the hip socket. Again, if you want to take your arms behind your back and to have a little bit more of a chill version here instead of holding your arms out to the side, you can do a shoulder opening here by, if you have your elbows bent, press your elbows forward, feel your collarbones get wider. At the same time, draw the belly muscles in. Good, bend your knee a little deeper. Yeah, good. So you choose where you feel the most like a warrior. Breathe with it. Keep your anchor down. Keeping your anchor down, that means everything from your belly button down is like thinking down. Take the arms straight up to the ceiling. So you're thinking down in the pelvis, you're thinking up in the rib cage. You're staying low in your legs until you press into the mound of your left big toe, straighten your left leg. Good. Now reach the arms forward and backwards. Feel your left sitting bone pressing towards the back of your mat. Keep going. Eventually you'll take your block, you'll place it to the outside of your ankle, and you use that energy of pressing into the, the ball of your left big toe to get even a little bit more of that revolution. It's like stepping on the gas pedal, somehow allows us to find more mobility in our spine. Don't forget about your back leg. That back leg is nice and firm. Lift both kneecaps up. Perhaps you feel like if you reach your right arm forward, that's going to give you a little bit more. You could always add the left. You could do it differently from one side to the other. It's your practice. Good, and then start to circle your right arm around. And then after the next circle, let your hand land on your hip. And then bend your knee, bend your left knee, hop your right foot in a little closer, move your block about 8 inches forward. And then float up, pressing into the left foot. Find that sense of buoyancy. Maybe take your right arm up to the sky. So maybe it's half moon because there's a balance of the elements, a balance of the masculine and the feminine. So while we're pretty precise with what we're doing with our hips and our back and our shoulders and stuff, there's still an element of we find our own way, we're flexible in how we approach this. We try not to be rigid. So slowly start to bend your left knee, reach your right leg way, way, way back behind you. Slide your block back in and return to Trikonasana, triangle pose. You might need to adjust your feet a little bit. Find a way the triangle pose feels like this is the moment we've arrived. We've been waiting to get here. Every single pose today. Good, and then bend your left knee so that it tracks right over the center of your left foot. Press your outer left knee into your left elbow, so your hand is still on the back of your ankle. Top arm stretches over your ear. Parsvottanasana. Press it strong into the outer edge of that right foot. Reach long through your right fingertips. Spin your left rib cage under. Right ribs up to the sky. Right shoulder blade is trying to create shade on your right armpit. Imagine it was a shade. On your next inhale breath, revolve it up. Reverse your warrior. Stay low in your legs as you reach long with your fingers. Good, and as you exhale, cartwheel it down. Step back. Take your vinyasa. If you'd like to take a vinyasa, of course you can opt not to. You arrive in downward facing dog. Just allow yourself to arrive and to release any of the time-bound concerns. See if you can lift the pelvis up even taller. Good, and then inhale your right leg straight back behind you. As you exhale, curl your knee in towards your chest, step your foot between your hands. Seal your left foot on its edge, but this time we're heading towards warrior one. So your left foot is angling towards the left front corner of your mat. Your feet are, let's go for hip distance apart today. So we're a little bit wider than usual. And then press into your right heel, reach your arms forward. Good, and then lift all the way up into that warrior one. Good, now you're gonna circle your right arm back behind you. Rest your right fingertips on the back of your left thigh. And imagine that your heart is lifting up into your left hand. So this is exalted warrior. So what does it mean to be exalted? To really be in this moment and to really be in the celebration. Good, and then slowly cartwheel your left hand down. You can place it on a block to the inside of your right foot. Revolve your spine up one more time into the twist. Good, and then start to reach your right arm back behind you, left arm forward, and rise up into a crescent twist. Try to get your rib cage to stack directly over your pelvis. Try to reach your arms long in either direction, feeling your chest open and your shoulder blades open at the same time. Amazing, so good. Keep hugging that midline. Sharon, revolve onto the ball of your back foot. There you go, good. Good, and then circle your right arm forward to meet your left. Hook your right thumb on top of your, no, yeah, it's fine. Your right thumb on top of your left. And then as you inhale, float those arms up and use it as an opportunity to lift your rib cage up out of your pelvis. Relax your shoulders. Imagine the shoulder blades rolling forward to encapsulate the sides of the body. Find that drishti and that gaze. Good, and then keeping your fingers interlaced like this, your thumbs, slowly bend your left knee all the way down to the floor. Keep the length of your pelvis, of your torso. Good, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Keep the length of your torso. Shift forward 45 degrees, hook your elbow, and revolve open. Breathe. If this is a lot, you can always go back to putting your block to the inseam of your right foot and just taking a nice, easy, open twist. And if even that's a lot, you could put your right hand down and open your chest in the opposite direction. Sometimes we don't always want to be twisting, I get it. Good, so slowly unravel your twist. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Take it through a vinyasa if you choose to. Allow yourself to recalibrate in downward facing dog by bringing your attention to your pubic bone. I'm thinking about, could you continue to lift your pubic bone up, 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 up? It's like, it feels almost like you're scooping your belly, the lowest part. Good, so inhale your left leg, stretch it back behind you. As you exhale, step your foot between your hands. Seal your right foot on its edge. Remember your right toes facing the right front corner of your mat, feet hip distance apart. Press into the left heel, rise up, Virabhadrasana 1. Good. So you're making an effort as you press into the outer edge of your right foot to roll that right inner thigh towards the back. Good. Keep your right arm reaching. Start to circle your left arm around. Catch the back of your thigh. And think of not going backwards, but lifting up, 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 lengthening. And then you can find the shoulder blades want to lift your heart to the sky a little bit more. And then reach your left arm up to match your right. And as you exhale, I forgot what we did here. What did we do? Have that moment. We come back down. We revolve to the ball of the back foot. We take the block to the inside. And we take that twist again. Good. And then you start to reach your left arm back behind you. And your right arm up, and you come up into that open twist. Good. So imagine someone was pulling your left hand back behind you. And at the same time, your right knee was magnetizing down towards the floor. Your left sitting bone is trying to roll underneath you. Good. And then circle your left arm around. Reach it forward. Hook your left thumb on top of your right. And as you inhale, float the arms up. Lifting your ribcage up out of your pelvis. Keep that striving, keep that length. Think about zipping up the front of the body and slowly lower your right knee all the way down to the floor. Good, keep that height, keep that length. Bring your hands together in front of your heart without losing it. Tilt yourself forward 45 degrees and hook or not. Give options and how you want to complete your practice. Let your breath stay deep. Good. Slowly unravel. power through your vinyasa. And take a moment to recalibrate in downward facing dog. Good, bend your knees, come down, roll over onto your back, and lie down onto your back. Place your feet in line with your sitting bones. Start to think about, without even thinking about lifting your pelvis away from the floor yet, think about if you could elongate your tailbone towards the back of your knees, and then allow that to start to lift your hips up into a bridge pose. As you lift up into a bridge pose, think about your inner thighs revolving down towards the floor. And then once you get your hips up, you can feel like those hip creases are opening up. You can use the strength of your glutes to emphasize that. And then take your arms underneath you, interlace your fingers, wiggle your shoulder blades in a little bit more, and then use that to lift your chest towards your chin. Make sure the back of your neck is not squishing down onto the floor. The inner thighs continue to revolve down. It's like you're awakening the back of your body. Allow yourself to breathe here. And release the interlace of your fingers and allow your spine to roll down from your upper back to your middle back to your lower back. Good. Take a moment to recalibrate. Again, press into your heels, lift your hips up. If you need to slide a block underneath you, you can. Otherwise, just set it up in the same way but with your opposite thumb on top. And notice if you're starting to splay out through your inner groins. Try to keep those legs in line with the hip sockets so everything stays fairly compact here. Imagine with your breath you could lift your heart up towards your chin. Good, take one more round of breath and slowly release it back down. Good, cross the right ankle over the knee. Draw the left knee in towards the chest. Imagine pressing the right knee forward and out towards the right. Allow your eyes to close and allow yourselves to be present in this here and now, in whatever experience you're having. Good. Release your left foot back down to the floor. Cross your right thigh bone over your left. Cactus shape your arms and allow your knees to drop towards the left. So sometimes in our yoga practice, it's like we find those kind of zen spaces or empty spaces, the spaces between the thoughts, the moments of stillness, the moments where time no longer is a measurement that matters. Good. Use your abdominals to bring your knees back in. Uncross your right leg, cross your left ankle over your right, hug your right knee in. You can manually adjust by pressing your left knee out towards the left, and you'd be surprised how much more room there is to go, how crooked your pelvis might have been. I am. As you soften into the shape, allow yourself to go more and more deeply into just the depth of being. And then drop your right foot back down, cross your left thigh bone over, cactus shape your arms again. Let your knees magnetize down towards the right. You might gaze to the left. You might exaggerate the stretch by kind of using your right knee to drag the left inner knee a little closer to the floor. If you're going to do that, if you're going to create that additional resistance with your right, pull your left hip as if you could pull it like into your hip socket. So you'll feel that lengthening. Good, and then slowly make your way back to the center. Use your abdominals to get there. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Just allow yourself to be cradled by your own arms. Rock yourself a little bit from side to side. As you prepare for Shavasana, ask yourself if there's anything else you might need to complete your practice today. But whenever you're ready, go ahead and find your Shavasana. Find your most comfortable shape where you can truly relax, where you can truly let go of time. And so this is a time where we just allow ourselves to be restored without the busyness of the mind, without the constant productivity counter of the mind. So take a deep, deep breath in. Open your mouth, sigh it out. And allow yourself to just be in a place of sweetness. Sukha. In this place of sweetness, all the tension melts. You get to surrender. You get to just be. So from this incredibly restored place, even if you got 3 seconds of spaciousness, it still counts. Everything counts. Even if you had 4 seconds of feeling like you arrived, it counts. It's important. It's meaningful. So slowly start to move your body any way that feels good. When you're ready, find your way to a seated position. You get to chart your own path to get there. And when we come back to the seated position, take a moment to organize your body. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. And just take a moment to feel that connection to the external world, to the octopuses in the ocean and to each other, and to that kind of indescribable connection that we have to our inner selves that we find through this practice. So just take a moment to celebrate all of that connection. And really come into gratitude for being part of a whole, for being a united world, that the trees that are breathing out, we're breathing in, and they're half of our lungs, if you think about it. So allow your eyes to open. Namaste.